Hello and welcome to the Future is Sovereign podcast. My name is Chelsea Eden Dubois, and if you're here, this is where we break free from digital servitude and reclaim our digital sovereignty. Whether you're an individual or a business owner, this really is for you. And in fact, today we're going to dive into one of the most, what I think to be is the most urgent topics of our time, one of them, which is how the algorithm owns you and how to escape before it's too late. And I'm not a fearmonger. That's not what this is about when I say before it's too late. I mean before you are unable to actually remove yourself from the algorithm, from what I call mainstream social media, including Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, and of course X. Now the main sort of narrative around these platforms is that they are completely necessary for not just individuals, right, but also for business owners. That you can't have a thriving business if you're not online, and the same is true for other trusted institutions, organizations, etc. And so let's kind of dive into that. So first, before we continue, I just want to sort of set the scene. Okay. Imagine waking up and realizing that you don't actually own your business visibility. Your followers, they're rented. Your content, controlled. Your reach, restricted, unless you pay to play. That's not paranoia. That's the business model of algorithmic feudalism. And today we're going to tear it down. Okay, so let's talk about what the digital feudal system is. Okay, so social media is not neutral. It's a system of control where you are the product. The algorithm decides who sees your content, and it's not based on value, but on what keeps people addicted. The AI-driven manipulation helps to fuel outrage, division, and distraction while keeping users engaged for profit. So this is engineered servitude, and businesses are complicit whether they know it or not. So what exactly are we talking about here? We're talking about the attention economy, attention capitalism, which is a form of psychological warfare. That sounds really extreme, but we're gonna break it down. Every time you log in, you enter a digital battleground. The goal of big tech, and when I say big tech, I'm referring to technology companies whose products aren't bringing us closer together. They're driving us apart. Now, maybe in the beginning, social media was this amazing tool for connection and, kind of a beautiful testament to democracy. But over time, it devolved. Now, the goal of big tech is to maximize engagement at all costs. And those tactics that they use, they include dopamine loops, outrage cycles, and algorithmic suppression. They keep that carrot dangling in front of you, and they push content creators and businesses that sell you the hacks to get more reach. It is a game. And businesses aren't just participants. They're forced into the system to stay visible because they've bought into that belief that they need these platforms to survive. Now, there is a path to digital sovereignty. And when I say digital sovereignty, I'm talking about your ability to exist and do business without fear of obscurity, of invisibility, while at the same time battling with your fear of being seen. That's the conflict that's going on with social media. You're told to post consistently, to do all the right things. Make sure that you spend a certain amount of minutes before or after you post. You have to, make sure all these things are in there, like hooks and blah, blah, blah. You got to get the formula. The reason they tell you this, okay, it's because the algorithm not only favors this type of stuff, because it's trained human beings to have such short attention spans that's actually how you're actually going to get pushed. And I don't know about you, but that's not an ecosystem that I want to be a part of. Because ultimately, if you're complicit in the digital servitude of not only yourself, but the people that you're here to serve, yeah, that's just not a marketing style that I'm okay with. Not anymore. I've been, a proponent of social media marketing and communications and engagement as much as I've been a victim of it. And enough is enough. So the path to digital sovereignty. The first step, oh my God, you realize that you're in a cage. The belief that you need social media, that is the real prison. The second step on that path is to build on sovereign land. Land that you own. Your own owned assets. Not rented land, rented visibility, which is all you're getting when you use these platforms. And how do you build on sovereign land? Well, you actually use proven strategies, like prioritizing your email lists, building private communities, and directing traffic strategically. The third step with this is using social media as a funnel, not a foundation. It's just an entry point. It's a portal. And you can even extract audience attention out of the algorithm into your owned platforms if you bring in a very, precision-based influence strategy along with you when it comes to this. But it's got to be a funnel. You got to get off the content creation hamster wheel, which isn't serving you. I haven't even gotten into the nervous system dysregulation that happens as a result of involving yourself in this system. Okay, you're feeding dopamine addicted users to keep them in this hamster wheel right along with you while you keep just running along with them, trying to keep up, and it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. And that brings me to sort of the fourth step with this, which is, weaponizing the algorithm against itself. You can use the same principles of virality in a way that's not, just going to be on the social media platform. There are certain things that occur naturally to create virality, okay? It's leveraging controversy. I'm not saying stir shit up or create issues where there are none. I'm not talking about that. You and your unique self, your viewpoint, that's not going to be shared with just anybody, right? So just even, planting your flag in the ground and saying, this is me and this is what I believe in, that's sometimes enough to just create controversy. That's also part of differentiation and word of mouth marketing outside the system. There's a whole, oh my gosh, amazing ecosystem of what I've personally been calling it resonance marketing. It's putting yourself in the places with the right people, the right types of people that'll be into what you're offering, right? And this doesn't just apply to businesses. Artists even think that they can only be creative on Instagram because it's a visual platform. But again, these individuals who, defend the system tomorrow are the ones on Reddit yelling about the fact that Instagram either shadow ban them, which apparently doesn't exist, quote unquote, sure, or they've completely disabled their account because of suspected bot activity. And my God, if that's not enough to show you that the rug can be pulled right out from under you at any second, I don't know what is. And so the final takeaway from all this very short, I'm going to always try to keep these episodes pretty short, just because, we're busy. The final takeaway is this. It's time to exit the algorithm. And I'm not talking about, the algorithm of, the internet, because algorithms are everywhere. They're the equivalent of our ego, right? They filter stuff. They bring stuff to our attention that maybe we'll find interesting and blah, blah, blah. We do need them. I'm talking about algorithms that engineer dependency, that extract data and wealth, and manipulate perception. Because as much as it's possible to thrive and build sovereign businesses outside the matrix, the mainstream Meta, Instagram, X, social media matrix, even more important than that is, not contributing to the most dangerous weapon of propaganda of our time. The owner of X is in the White House. There is nothing but business interests right now running the country, our neighbors to the south. And if that's not a giant, there's, let's be honest, so many red flags, okay? But when you invite the fourth estate into the halls of government in a way where that particular entity has contributed to the polarization, the dehumanization, the destabilization of society, we need to wake up and see these platforms for what they truly are, because they are no longer the democratic beacons of free speech that we've been made to believe that they are. They are no longer tools of connection because they are driving us apart. This isn't just about leaving, though. When we make any kind of change, we also have to look at an alternative, right? And so, as part of the sovereign shift, which is my main offer, that's sort of my main identity now online, which combines, my experience in communications with breathwork and every part of myself that, has been poured into this. The sovereign shift is where I've built an ecosystem, a 90-day program where we can reclaim what's been taken from us and create a new paradigm for influence. A new paradigm for connection, for reaching your audiences, for implementing resonance-based marketing tactics that are ethical, and they're going to reach your people, and they're going to feel good, and they're not going to burn you the F out. You're not going to be sharing the same ecosystem as deepfakes and frauds and liars. Because as Marshall McLuhan once said, the medium is the message. No matter how beautiful your message is, if it's sharing the same space as certain entities and certain messages, your message is polluted by association. Anyway, I will leave it there. If this resonated, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode. Help start the conversation. Help keep it going. And take action today. I encourage you to visit www.thesovereignshift.ca. That's right, .ca. To learn more about what's available. I also offer a free digital sovereignty starter kit for businesses who are kind of fed up and they're ready to move out of that toxic ecosystem. Okay, so thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in a future episode. Cheers.